Hello and welcome to 709 Meridian. I'm Andrew.
And this is D.
And we are wrapping up season 3 with the original Jaws, 1975, directed by Steven Spielberg, his second movie. And then after the movie, we will reveal season 4's subjects. And let's see what else. If you don't want to listen or if you don't want to watch along with the commentary, you can listen to the unsynchronized version, which is available in the podcast stream and at the YouTube channel. But yeah, I think whenever you're ready, let's get out on the Orca.
Oh yeah, let's head back to good old summer at Amity Island there.
That's right. Got to keep those beaches open.
Fond memories of shark attacks and bad hats.
That poor Kintner boy. All right.
Damn Kintner boy.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, play.
All right.
Once again, the Universal logo. I'm trying to think. There aren't a lot of franchises that don't go so long, that are so short, they don't go through a logo refresh. Even the old Universal horror movies went through a logo refresh.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so here we go. Starting right off with the music and our credits here. We got the Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss. There's always ego in how billing worked in the 70s. So you had Robert Shaw elevated above the other two to convince him to do it. Let's see. Susan Backliney gets an opening title credit, even though she's only in the first scene. That's not a big cast, but that makes sense since there's only 3 people in the second half of the movie. Verna Fields editing. Don't remember if she did Sugarland Express for Spielberg before this, but she got into some office job at Universal and stopped cutting. So this is one of the very few movies that that she actually cut, and it's just a very nicely edited picture here. So, but we haven't seen that yet because this is just one long shot of the summer folk.
Looks like an old beer commercial. Speaking of beer.
Yep. This is Susan Backliney. I don't know who the dude is, I don't think. Nobody ever talks about the dude, even though he's not drunk. I was actually thinking about how Jaws was another one of those movies that for the longest time you only saw it pan and scan on VHS.
And TV. They had a terrible, awful pan and scan. It's
gotten a lot less like that, or some of the stuff from the mid to late 80s, once they started, I'm not drunk, once they started framing for video. But when you watch Jaws or Die Hard or Halloween, it's in the Panavision, it's like you're seeing a different movie.
Yeah, because they cut out a lot.
There's just so much. Yep, he can swim, he just can't walk. I was also reading something that I think it was a podcast interview with somebody about how the rumor that the reason the shark isn't in the movie is because it wasn't finished yet, but the guy was was saying that no, Spielberg wanted to do it this way.
Yep.
I don't know if there even is a good Jaws soundtrack album yet.
Really?
There's the original soundtrack release that's like a 9-tracker, right? And then they had like a Joel McNeely conducted one that Perez Saraban released. Okay, so now she's getting carried around. We're not seeing the shark at all. Like, dude's drunk. This also would have been Williams's first big score. 75. There was nothing before he and Spielberg got together.
Not really.
Johnny Williams composed the theme to Mission Impossible, though, I think.
No, that was
Lalo Schifrin.
Yeah.
I thought Johnny Williams did at least something like that.
He did Lost in Space.
Okay, there you go. Because the Netflix Lost in Space show has some guy who impersonates John Williams' Jurassic Park music. Okay, so
Morning in Amity.
Lots of cigarettes. Got an ashtray right next to the bed.
The legend, Mr. Roy Scheider.
What happens to this dog?
So there are 2 phones in the house.
And that is definitely not the same kitchen as 2. Yeah, but I mean, this Spielberg, what were we talking about that with? Was it the Poltergeist? The Spielberg family stuff. He's always got foreground and background action with the families. Things are always busy.
The picturesque little bird.
Mm-hmm. Giant picket fences. Wait, that's Sean. Wow, he aged a lot between the movies, didn't he? He had that Jack disease. And this shot at Martha's Vineyard, right? That's the... Yeah, there we go. Okay, here's this dude. They're not. He's an Islander. And here, yep, there we go, Jeffrey Kramer. And the first sign that something's very wrong. Yeah, but if you're watching that on video, you're not seeing Jeffrey Kramer, right? Like, you're watching that on TV, you don't get to see any of what he's doing.
No.
Ooh. I wonder why he's wearing his windbreaker in the summer.
Well, it's to show how out of place he is.
I don't. I don't remember the book enough to know if you got as much sort of texture to the townsfolk as we get in the movie. But guy looks like an old Les Nessman.
Yeah, right. With the hat and shit.
And the glasses. The municipal building that looks like a house, a giant.
Okay, some of that. Huh. They did a damn good like recreation on like the back lot of Universal. It's a shame they took that down in Florida.
So we saw some of the supporting cast a second ago, all coming out of their offices. That's definitely from the book. That there's sort of the town brain trust, and in the background you can see Vaughn's Realty, meaning Larry Vaughn, in addition to being the shitty mayor, is a shitty real estate agent.
A lot of this is kind of, oh, there's the man.
Yep. Look at that. Look at that suit jacket with the anchors. That is awesome.
A lot of this like town established stuff, they did it in really similarly in Back to the Future. Like you really do establish the town.
Yeah, I think that Zemeckis as Spielberg light is kind of that was always sort of Zemeckis's thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The ferry comes back in the second one. God, he's such a scumbag.
Just the way they're like hovering over him. A boating accident.
But look, I mean, just so the ferry is, it's spun around, so the background is in constant motion here. It's
yeah.
Maybe some of it's that Spielberg just doesn't have long shots like this going forward. But yeah, I mean, like this whole conversation is the foreground, background working itself out. And now we get the beach. Oh damn! Does Kittner go this quick?
Yeah.
This is before the tourists have shown up, everyone. This is when it's just the townsfolk enjoying their beaches. There's what's her face, who has a husband
Oh
in
yeah.
this one.
She's appeared in about three of these.
Right. She's the only one who, and Mrs. Brody.
Yeah. Everybody's just having fun.
What's the dog's name? Poppin?
Pip it.
Pippet? Pippet?
So two victims are about to be claimed.
Oh, and here we go. Look at this. Just,
Yeah.
more because you can't really, I would say what, about 95 or so was when people started really leaning in on their Jaws, sort of applying the lessons they've learned from Jaws.
Now that's he didn't play a cop in Halloween, did he?
Now,
Oh.
with those teeth, yeah. Kittner boy.
Yeah. Now get out of my face.
Coca-Cola, there we go. A Fanta, and it looked like a tab.
Oh my god, Tab. Is
Yep,
that
turned
still
away though.
around?
I don't think so. Here we go.
Yeah. The dog is gone.
So they're going to talk about it later, but sharks attack in shallows, right? Like that doesn't work in, well, in Jaws 3 it was a lagoon, but or no, the attack on the playboats would have worked.
Ah,
Whoa.
no. There we
There's
go.
yep, there we go. I don't know if anybody used that shot in between Spielberg and Hitchcock, but nobody remembers if anybody did.
Uh-uh. I think did De Palma try it?
Uh, I mean, De Palma, Carey was 76 at this point, or set, right? Like De Palma at this
Yeah.
point was still doing his low budget shit with Robert De Niro. If you, there's that documentary De Palma where it's kind of funny because Brian De Palma is the least self-aware guy you've ever met. Like he's just like, well, I don't know why anybody would say that thing, and you're just like, well, they just showed a clip and you did that fucking thing, dude. Like, So Murray Hamilton was he was Mr. Robinson in The Graduate, I think.
Hmm.
And that was 67. So
No, that's a stretch between then and this.
yeah. I don't know what else he did in between, but he's fucking great, man. Murray Hamilton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope they don't close the beaches. Oh shit. Is this when we meet Flint for the first time?
Yeah.
Quint, not Flint. So yeah, we're gonna establish Mrs. Kittner put out a reward for the shark, and that's gonna sort of occupy the beginning of the second act here as the townsfolk try to make the get the reward. Are you going to close the? Are you going to close the beaches, Chief?
Oh, fuck you, Chief.
Well, only 24 hours, folks. The shark will be gone by then.
Ah.
Yep. Ooh.
The old lady that looks at him.
Yep. So good. Well,
y'all know me.
Y'all know what I do for a living.
Yeah.
Somebody wanted the sequel to be his son or something, right? Like,
Well, they kind of needed somebody like him or somebody like Dreyfus.
yeah. One other thing with Spielberg is he didn't like when you think about something like say Raiders, he didn't have a lot of people in those scenes, right? Like they topped out at 4 or 5 people a scene. The dinner scene in Temple of Doom is about the most characters that he.
Yeah, because this scene in Raiders is when he's telling them about the Ark.
Yeah.
And that's only like him and 3 other guys.
Yeah. Marcus and the 2 government guys. But yeah, it's like this is very unlike, and his little sidekick, who I don't know if he ever gets a line. I think the sidekick's got more personality in the book, but yeah, this is a very different sort of Spielberg than even a few years later. Like it really is the first 3 that he has this sort of attention to character.
Of course, you don't see the dog in the TV version.
Is that even the same dog as it was in the first scene? I don't think it is. Are you sure? All right.
Yeah, it was a spaniel.
All right.
This shit is so pushed in on the Channel 9 version, the TBS.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're just talking about the 2. I mean, where they would actually have to do the panning and scanning to keep up with the motion. Yeah.
You wouldn't see the lamp. You wouldn't see
the outside for sure, right? You wouldn't see, the movement or what the Chiefs freaking out about. Oh, just like in The Revenge.
Mike here has a strong accent.
They really dropped that in the second one. I wish they'd kept it. She's got it too.
Womp womp womp.
Okay. So some of the stuff in this would get like this scene, I feel like what Roland Emmerich does this in Godzilla, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
With the pier and the
Yeah. He amps it up to whatever.
Godzilla's a coming. And this is the first thing you think when they do that scene in that movie.
Yeah. Okay, so this is just a very memorable sequence, but if you look at the cuts, this is where Vera Fields is really just, it's so subtle, right? Like when he's flipping the pages, she's cutting it sort of mid flip. Oh, look, a shark tower. I wonder if the chief will ever get one of those of his own. That,
Yeah.
Yep. But the,
Yeah.
ooh, that's a bad one. The shark mouth thing that was in there. We'll see that visual later. So it gets dark on one side of the island earlier than on the other side of the island. just say.
Ah.
Yep, there we go. But I mean, the body count is a lot less than the other movies.
Yeah. This was built into part of the little stunt for the Universal Hollywood tour, where the shark breaks apart the pier. They've changed it over the years. Now I think the pier catches on fire or some shit.
So, like, just these visuals, instead of using the fin, right? Instead of the fin being Michael Myers,
right?
There's just so much mystery to it.
Because the rest of the movies use the fin.
Yeah. And to be fair, when Spielberg starts showing the shark, that's mostly what he shows is still the fin. I mean, until the finale. This guy, Frank Silva Harbormaster, he's got a whole story I remember in the novel. Like,
see, that's the thing with books, though, where you could just detail like every.
Yeah. Does he call him young fella?
Young feller.
Yeah, they really should have kept the accents in the second one. But also, the other thing about the second one is there aren't very many adults in the second one. There's the town council, but
it's just totally kids.
Yeah, it's your teen movie. Um, the idiots going hunting, of course, is a familiar motif after this. The one that sticks out is King Kong Lives, where they turn it into a whole subplot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 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 oh.
How did they not want to bring back Jeffrey Kramer for the second one? He's so perfect.
Oh, wow.
Was he even in the TV version? Like
Yeah.
half the movie's gonna be Roy Scheider. Half their scenes are Roy Scheider talking to empty space.
or that weird pan and scan slide that they do.
Oh yeah. Did they squeeze this one? I can't remember. I don't think they did.
A lot of the Universal movies got a fucked up, like the ones I remember the most are this and the Blues Brothers. Look terrible.
Well, I mean, Universal kept that shit up even after they got the DVD. Remember how many times did they have to re-release Back to the Future because they fucking
Yeah,
cropped
they
it
didn't
wrong?
even crop it
Yeah.
right. Uh,
Or mat it right? Yeah. Like,
it was just the
but I think
Halloween
that,
is another one that gets fucked up. See, now isn't
yeah.
that Melvin Van Peebles
Uh,
with the hoodie on?
I know. No, I don't think so.
It looked like him though.
Yeah, it's a bummer he didn't come back for the second one, but I don't know if that would have really helped. Like,
They would have to write something
it would have to be an
crazy.
entirely different movie if you got because if you brought in like another grown up, you'd have to get rid of the kid shit or
Yeah,
tone
they'd
it
have to
down.
trim that to hell because that's who they were really going for
Yeah.
in part two. They needed the kids.
Okay. No offense to Roy Scheider, but I think it's interesting that he didn't understand this wasn't his movie at this point. Like,
Right.
we already learned that it might be Robert Shaw's movie, and now we're learning that it's Richard Dreyfuss's movie. Like,
Especially the way he just boom.
uh-huh.
Uh.
I like how they have more technology. He has more technology than there is in the sequels, right? Like, so Stakeout.
Uh.
When there's a line in Stakeout about this is not a boating accident, they're playing movie quote trivia, and that is real. That Emilio Estevez, they were playing it between takes. Emilio Estevez asked Richard Dreyfuss what that was from, and Richard Dreyfuss didn't remember.
Wow.
So they kept it in the movie. Well, I think that's Carl Gottlieb, the co-writer. I don't know why they couldn't have just brought him in the second one a little bit. Like, and the other thing is that Brody still gets to experience some joy in this one. In the second one,
He's just panic.
yeah,
That's kind of why he needed somebody to, other than his wife, to sort of
Just look at just the crowd scenes. There are just so many people around to keep track of. It's so good.
Yeah, because you do that now.
Oh no, you can't do this now. You'd have six
can't do
different
that
people
now,
shot
'cause
6 different days, 6 different countries in front of 6
composited and
different
shit.
green screens. Yeah, you would never do it.
The background, yeah, you can't even. Uh, what?
That guy just lost his
Fred
accent
Flintstone
though.
over here.
Yeah. He would have made
Listen,
a good Fred
Barney.
Flintstone. You've also got that sort of great early to mid 70s sort of bad style in this
Yeah.
one. Like, what the fuck is Murray Hamilton wearing?
See, that shit is Bola. Pink shirt. With the
like
test pattern jacket.
His jacket looks like what, that candy, like.
Oh, that hard candy.
Yep.
That shit is a straight up test pattern. That's the shit. That's the shit you see it on TV at night when the channel goes off.
We couldn't see that because of what?
Oh shit! The bad print
Or the
it
fuzz.
was just like
Remember
a flat blue.
Yeah, that's what the kids today don't know about the fuzz whenever you'd have like lines close together and stuff like that.
Because I don't think I ever like saw the detail in the jacket till I think I saw your laser disc. Remember we watched it?
Yeah. This was one of the
This is also the one of the best Blu-rays.
Yeah. I think when we got our I don't know if it was when we got our TV. I think it was our TV. This was what we watched because it's just so good looking. Just such a great looking movie.
They've remastered the shit out of this. Now, is that his father?
I mean,
well, Alex P. Kintner.
Yeah. He
oh, grandpa there.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Degrassi parent. What the fuck? I'm just here for the day and no lines.
Such a long, just
This is very Our Town, just kind of bringing it all back down to earth type.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't duplicate it. That's the thing is you just can't duplicate this sort of.
You don't know these people, but you know these people.
Exactly. And you can't blame it on. With the sequels, you can't blame it on Spielberg not being there because like he wasn't doing this pretty soon after this, right? Like
the next couple of times you get this out of Spielberg is Close Encounters and E.T.
Yep.
A little bit in Raiders,
At the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just strange because it's like a conscious choice that he stopped doing stuff like this. But I mean, like, Brian De Palma, who we were talking about before, he kept his whole shtick the entire time, right? Like De Palma deviated from it maybe twice.
Knocking, doing the the Hitchcock bit.
Yeah. But Spielberg's, and some of it I think is just that Spielberg stopped making movies
About people.
about people, but also he stopped making movies about adults.
Yeah, that's who.
He really leaned into making movies about kids. And this movie, there are kids, but
They're incidental to it.
they're the children of the parent. It's, as opposed to E.T., where
Yeah, they're center stage.
his R gang approach to everything that he sort of kicked off there. And
that was 80s too, though.
Yeah,
80s,
that was
everything.
very 80s.
You got to cater to the kids,
Should have done a Jaws at a summer camp. So in the book, they don't just not like each other. Richard Dreyfuss bangs Brody's wife, which I think I mentioned on our Jaws 2 episode because I thought they should, or in the Jaws Revenge, because I was like, they should keep that in, they should bring that into continuity at the last minute. I mean, you got foreground, midground, background. Like, I guess if you don't have three people talking, you can't really have this scene. If you only have two people talking and Marcus making a wry comment at the end of it, doesn't quite work the same.
Who else could have done her part?
So 1975.
Would it have really been who was that in The Exorcist?
Oh no, she couldn't have done it because I mean it's just a wife part, right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's got personality to it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think Roy Scheider, frankly, would have made a movie with Ellen Burstyn because he wouldn't have been able to share, like
No.
It's a shock that he can share. I mean, like, this is, of course, before I don't like what was his big, I mean, this was his big hit. What convinced him that he shouldn't, I don't know, be
yeah, like, because from this point on, Roy Scheider was the Jaws guy.
Yeah, sorcerer.
What, 52 pickup?
Nobody's got a
Thunder.
Yeah. Blue Thunder being the peak of his 80s solo efforts.
That was pretty much it.
It was a bummer because after that, like, he just became a and Roy Scheider as type thing, or uncredited cameos even. But the sort of mid-70s New York personality went away too by Jaws 2.
Yeah.
But at this point, like, he was mostly a partner in French Connection. They did the 7 Ups. That was another New York cop movie. So it's like, I wonder if IMDb, I guess we'll find out, has the average shot length because I feel like
Wow.
it's just
Fucking
so
whole fish
gradual.
coming out of this one.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing about the sequels is like it was before sequels aped the like they tried not to mimic the predecessors too much, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then
Jaws 2 was very much a back to square one.
mm-hmm.
Like, you dummies don't remember the fucking shark that ate up all the people 2 summers ago.
No.
And they still want to keep the beaches open.
So this is okay. So despite seeing this movie over 10 times, I don't actually remember what's going to come, what disaster gets them out there. Because this sequence was one that they had a lot of trouble with in the punchline of it was an insert Spielberg did later in his own swimming pool because the scene just wasn't working.
You could tell this isn't even. I don't even think this is a location.
Oh no. I bet they're not even on the water for half this. The old John Carpenter. The best way to shoot a car scene is you put two people in a garage in a car and you move it around.
Use a lot of smoke. Get
There's a
those
lot
fog
of
machines working.
yeah. There's a lot of setup with this technology, and none of it's going to matter.
Nope.
It's just for this sort of character development sequence here that's going to pay off in the second half with Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw. Yeah, it's a very like Jaws' genre is men working together, right? It's one of those movies where some dudes, eventually three dudes will be on a boat together, but it's just about these like one dude knows something the other dude doesn't know. So they, exposition, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not really a thing you can do anymore because you don't have, there's always got to be a gimmick.
Well, now you got to have a woman.
We got to have a woman, but you also you got a gimmick. Like Ocean's 11, right? Is just all gimmick. Ocean's, as they went on, they just got to be more and more gimmick. There's
and
just
they all ended up being virtually the same fucking movie.
Yeah. And there's just no patience to build this stuff up. And it's like, this is when you talk about why you can't really make a sequel to Jaws, it's because
it's been done to such a, I mean, it's done at a level here to where I get what they tried to do with Jaws too, but eventually you're still going to be fighting that shark in the last reel.
Yeah.
And then for Jaws 3, they just said, well, fuck it, it's summer.
Right. Let's make a fucking blockbuster, right? Like,
right. What was a great Universal monster movie from back in the day? Oh yeah, Revenge of the Creature. We'll fucking
and let's not forget that Back to the Future made Universal, remade Universal in 1985.
Oh yeah.
So nothing they did sort of between Jaws 2 and Back to the Future stuck.
Nothing. I mean, even between that, you had shit like Last Starfighter.
The only thing you had E.T., but that wasn't
E.T.
duplicatable.
Yeah, that was just it stood on its own. That was a whole nother level. Like E.T. was basically the Michael Jackson of movies at the time.
It makes you wonder, or it makes me wonder. It makes everybody wonder. It's going to make everybody wonder in a second. What if Poltergeist had ended up at Universal somehow?
Well,
Like,
it probably would have been the same movie. It probably still would have been a hit, but you know,
because they
I,
just did not know how to do horror movies, though.
I just don't think it would have been any different. You know,
No, the maybe different film stock. Because I mean,
right?
like, just the sharpness of these.
It
Oh,
would have looked more
so
like
good.
this.
Okay, here we go. This is the insert shot that Spielberg did in his swimming pool, supposedly. Yep,
Woo!
boom. Or I think the insert shot was the close up. So, mind you, Richard Dreyfuss did do an autopsy on that, girl's arm, but
So the boat has lights under the boat.
oh yeah, because he's rich.
Yeah.
He's basically Batman if you think about it. He's Batman with
Bruce Wayne.
sharks. Yep.
This is him during his travels. The time Bruce had to deal with a shark in Amity.
You know what? I'd watch that movie.
Well, there was the one. I love that one issue where he helps a detective. It's a
Yeah.
flashback, and he helps the detective, and he's like at the end, he has to meet the one guy every year at the grave.
Mm-hmm.
I think it had something to do with the Klan or some shit. That shit was fucking genius. Murray Hamilton rocking a jacket again.
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
see, we got to open this beach here, damn it.
The thing, I guess, that I don't like, why wouldn't you ape this a little bit more? Just the way the foreground and back, like the
Because if he
way.
did, it would be too on the nose.
Well, no, not for the sequels, but just in general. Like, not
That's what I
obviously.
mean.
You think?
And they have it like that at Universal Studios. I don't know if it's the actual sign, but it does look like that.
Oh shit! That's what happens.
Hmm.
The attack after 4th of July weekend. That's when they had to go out.
The pond.
That's right. Yep. Okay. It also makes friends, so they can come back in number 2 and number 4. There's Carl Gottlieb in the background there.
Who's one of the cops, right?
No, he's the newspaper guy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And I'm out.
Yep. Now we get Burt Hamill gets to do the drive away angry scene. Look, this is the music that's in that fucking Undead movie. I'm sorry. I said it was the Jaws 2 music. It's this music.
Which one?
With the horns, that undead zombie movie by the Spielberg brothers, they use this basically this whole the whatever it's called tourist on. It's got a I can't remember what it's called, but the name of the track they basically use it. The didn't it they use that in that undead movie a lot.
Huh.
Such a good montage. Just such a good montage. That's another thing that's missing in the other ones is just the scale of the island. You don't get this sense
No.
of it as the tourist trap. And there's the
There we go.
game.
The video game.
That we've been waiting for since 2. Yep. By Sega.
Which, of course, was eventually, in arcades as Jaws.
Of course. I mean, you just had to buy that old game up and rebrand it, and you could be like, what? It's retro.
I think they did the same thing to Star Wars, too. Where it was something where you shot at X-Wings.
Yeah. That was not a great game.
No. Mm-mm.
This is Peter Benchley doing his cameo. Considering what a hack this guy became, I can't believe they didn't bring him back for at least 2. But I mean, that's the thing is, it's like you don't even have like TV coverage in the second one. It just doesn't. They just don't think about the scale of it.
No, because in the second one, it's supposed to be like a mystery.
That's true. It is the mystery through most of the movie. Yeah.
He doesn't get it till it's almost over.
So Murray Hamilton's got only those 2 jackets.
Right? Murray Hamilton is so Kingfish from Amos and Andy in this movie.
He's kind of like he gives off if William Shatner was a character actor and not a leading man vibes.
Right, that's Smarm.
Yeah, exactly. Spielberg didn't take the gun out of this one. I'm sorry.
Go on and swim, you little scamps.
It'll be fine. Going and getting some sewage. But yeah, I mean, I guess in Jaws 3, they do have large scale crowd scenes again. Like
really quick, though.
Really quick, but they at least acknowledge the scale of.
They're not as orchestrated as these are.
Yeah. He could read her lips from across the. Was that the second one we were talking about in Jaws 2? The whispering, effectiveness of whispering, Poltergeist.
Oh, Poltergeist, yeah.
We inadvertently picked a bunch of movies that, just because of the time period, have a lot of the same themes, sort of filmmaking wise. I don't know if I would trust Jeffrey Kramer with this much responsibility.
No, he's the Barney Fife.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy who puts his gun in the holster wrong and shit.
Mm-hmm. So this has always confused me. The shots of the people
Oh, here we
over.
go.
Okay. So good.
See, as you know, it means friendship.
So good.
Such a sleaze. Just uh,
That's another thing I think that people don't, just the sort of level of character actor in the 70s. Like,
well, they got you get guys like Murray Hamilton to play this part in this, but now it's like, who do you get? You get fucking Bill Murray.
right. You get
And
somebody
he's
who's a
this
leading
guy
man
in
who's
every
down
fucking
on his
movie.
luck, right? Like, you get somebody who, I mean, it's like the Ocean's 11 thing again. You get a bunch of leading men who can't actually open a movie by themselves anymore.
Yeah.
And so you lose the sort of character actor personality.
Yep. Okay. Now that screaming, they've used that in other movies.
The chaos of the this
People getting
sequence. Yeah,
stomped.
people getting stomped and drug out. The Mormons on the beach helping. That's a cut subplot. Like,
People running by laughing.
uh-huh.
I ain't gonna lie, that shit was funny.
He made me do it.
Wow, wow. Damn. Mm.
Yeah, I don't remember if
Elizabeth Olsen sees a shark.
you care because your son's in the pod, Chief. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in a hurry. But the girl who spots it was in there, was painting, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah. You would have seen the ripples in the water and shit. That, yeah. You okay over there? Yeah, it's okay over there.
So good.
Whoa.
Just that delayed fall in, just like, yeah, there you go. There's your first look.
Ow.
And
Yeah, then it really. This is the part where it's like people are like, what the?
yeah.
Oh my God. The leg.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, when we talked about this in the other episodes, just that the quick cut of the shark attack, that's not in this, right? Like, the
No.
shark attacks are not these frenzied,
Yeah, that.
instead it's, very graceful editing and actual like gore, right? Like, as opposed to,
There's a struggle. There's.
yeah.
Wow.
So the shark's body count's up to 3 now.
Yeah.
We haven't been talking about just the music enough, but so good.
This is it. Yeah.
Yep.
I had enough of you.
The shot's going out to sea because the movie's about to go out to sea. Little bit of. I like how all the dudes' hair in this looks like Star Wars, but when they did episode 3 and they tried to make it 70s style,
It didn't look right.
Right. It didn't look right. Yeah. People weren't putting whatever pomade in their hair anymore.
Whatever the shit was, it made it all slick, and then at the bottom was it's all feathered and shit.
Okay, so this is when we get our humanizing moment for the mayor.
Yeah, this is when we learn he's not completely.
That's why they should have left him voting in favor of the chief in the second one. Yeah. Like, so we got Murray Hamilton in the foreground, but he's slightly out of focus because we're paying attention to the background. It's just like, and Spielberg like lets the shot sit long enough that you can just see what he's doing. It's very, it's a lot more Hitchcocky than he would later be.
This is the you move the tombstones moment. You moved the tombstones, but you didn't move the graves.
We got the audio cut over the action.
Yes.
First time in the movie. And now it's time for Robert Shaw to take over the movie.
Right. Just walk away with the shit. Apricot brandy.
Yep.
Women.
I haven't seen a lot of like 60s Robert Shaw, but this is definitely his best performance that I've seen.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But it's also the only one where he sort of also got to play a real person because he did Blockbuster. Like this is a blockbuster, but it's a blockbuster about regular people. His other blockbusters were a lot more fantastic, like Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. He's a, fucking bank robber terrorist or whatever. So it's like,
I gotta watch The Sting again.
That's right. It's good. I watched the last time I watched it. It's so good.
Well, technically,
no spoilers, but I was already thinking
no
about
spoilers,
Stakeout.
but yeah.
That is a good point. That is a good one. Perhaps that. Okay. No spoilers, folks. Let's get back to the movie. Don't watch the cheese being made here. Now we get into the sailor's knots, which is one of those sort of mystery things that I think it's too late for me ever to understand, knowing multiple types of knots. Dreyfuss was not in the beach scene either, so he's now back in the movie. So that's a little bit. He like took a break. He was trying to bang Brody's wife off screen.
Well, there are extended and cut scenes. I'm shocked they
Yeah,
haven't done an extended edition of this all these years.
they probably would have to wait for Spielberg to die.
Oh yeah,
He's
dude. When,
never
when him and Lucas
done
die, you know the fucking hack jobs they're gonna do to these movies.
the
They're gonna CG the shark. God damn it.
yeah, I'm trying to think. Has Spielberg ever done a director's cut? I don't think so. The closest is, I mean, Close Encounters, he did, but I think that's it. And then he fucked with ET,
Right, he messed with ET.
and then he regretted it almost immediately. As soon as like other people saw it, he regretted it.
Well, yeah, when people complain about the CG, that's what chased them away from it. He totally forgot that government stooges actually do carry guns. Sharks in the water.
Our shark.
Our shark.
I wonder if Clerks actually introduced Jaws to anybody, or if it was just a cool detail in that one.
Well, Kevin Smith is always dropping nuggets in his
Yeah.
movies.
But I feel like that was one of the big ones. The Salsa shark.
Yeah. Because he always referenced it. I mean, outside of comics,
Yeah.
he was always kind of referencing Star Wars and Jaws.
I always have wanted to see these black socks that she made sure to pack for him. This is a very Hitchcock shot.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, it is kind of like that. It's like Spielberg took a bunch of Hitchcock techniques in a thriller, but didn't use those techniques when making the thriller part of the thriller. It's like a very interesting sort of way of doing it.
I could see either ladies that played the mothers in Close Encounters playing her part.
Yeah.
Terry Garr or Melinda Dillon.
Yeah. Yeah. That is this. She is a very, this is basically shit. Don't they have their hair and
Oh, there we go.
bandanas too? But yes, here's the shot through the shark's mouth. We get this reverse where I don't think we can see the shark mouth in the window. But yeah, and then you just get this sort of, proto Popeye moment here.
Yeah.
It's just scale that the other movies don't have. And we've also got the barrels on the boat already. Because, yeah, we're in the boat for the next 50 minutes.
And that's really out there. That's not no tank. It's not.
Now, they did they did their miserable at sea experience. So yeah, now back to the pan and scanning. So you've got Dreyfus on one end of the screen, you got Robert Shaw on the other. That also means you would have to be sitting, what, 10, 12 rows back to see both of them in the theater, but on video and TV, you're not seeing any of it. There we go. Dreyfus crushing his water cup there. But luckily, Brody doesn't know how to do anything. Wait a second.
Hmm.
Richard Dreyfuss just caught the rolling tank, but he was in a different place between the two shots. But yeah, so now Brody doesn't know what he's doing even more than usual, which is a totally different take on the character than in the second one.
Right.
But it's also Brody's entire character, right? So it's like you lost sort of that aspect of. I
Well,
mean,
Brody's
yes,
kind of the original McLean type, you know, just a regular guy in over his head in the extraordinary situation.
yeah, but he doesn't even know how to do the boat shit.
No.
Here we go. So the sort of tension the movie's just going to build through the sounds and the rising music is just especially here. Because I mean, 75 is before it's before Halloween. It's you had Texas Chainsaw, you had Last House on the Left, but those weren't mainstream at this point.
No, those were
So you didn't
drive-in
have
pictures.
you
Those were
didn't have
considered B movies then.
yeah, you didn't have pop scares yet.
This was it. This was, you know, everybody could go to Jaws.
Yep.
Because before this, it was Exorcist, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Exorcist sort of started the 70s
Yeah, the big
blockbuster.
blockbuster. We got to
Yeah.
go see it.
Well, Godfather, but differently. I mean, Godfather's
Yeah.
it's not a genre picture. Like,
yeah, Godfather was on a whole nother. It was his own thing. But when
these,
Jaws hit, and then King Kong afterwards, and then
yeah,
Close Encounters and Superman, it was just late 70s, just
Star Wars, obviously. The
Star Wars.
blockbuster just started in a way that it just hadn't been for a while. And when you did have huge hits, it was, 60s. It was, they weren't sort of the genre pieces. They weren't, the traditional action blockbuster that has some fantasy or sci-fi elements.
Uh-uh.
The other thing is that Richard Dreyfuss and Quint are at odds, and it's not quickly resolved, right? It's resolved over a long time period, a relatively long time period, amid all this action. I also don't think you have this type of plotting anymore, right? Like everything follows the same basic plot, starting with Star Trek Into Darkness, where you have, the one villain fight and then followed by a second villain fight or whatever. Like you have the reveal, and it's just like all the Marvel movies basically have that structure. And you don't have anything where anybody hangs out for 40 minutes in a single location, except something like Dread, and then nobody saw it until it was too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody appreciated that shit.
Nope. This is one of those movies where, yeah, you've now got your three stars each doing their own sort of experience of these events, and they're together doing it. It's not like the Towering Inferno. Oh yeah, we forgot about that. Before this, your set pieces were like at best mediocre disaster movies, at worst terrible disaster movies, right? So it's like
Tower Inferno, Sudden
Poseidon,
Adventure,
Earthquake.
Airport.
Yep. The airports were still going from Universal. So it's like this brought a level of
oh shit.
There are four of those.
I think I have the Concorde somewhere.
There are two Poseidon adventures though.
Oh my god. No.
Okay. Hell yes. we can't go on the airport tangent right now because I just want to talk about how I remember in one of them, what's his face? George Kennedy has like a 22-year-old girlfriend. And like it's just so gross.
Big old ass George Kennedy with a
shirt off, greased up. Yeah. But yeah, so you don't have your stars sort of doing this kind of thing again. And Spielberg wouldn't do that again. Like Close Encounters doesn't have that. There we go.
Uh-oh.
And no pop scare, right? Like we saw the shark coming out. It was about Brody's reaction to it. And now we get to sort of watch his petrification here.
And the line that shook America. And this was back before worldwide gross. We weren't worried about what the fuck China thought about
right
with the go see.
Being big in China didn't mean you got a sequel.
Wow.
Yeah, now we just get these sort of beautiful not montage sequences, but just these beautiful sequences with the John Williams music. Little proto Star Wars there.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was so glad they did that one documentary about like Williams music in the Spielberg movies.
Nice shoe shot here.
Speaking of John Williams, at the end of next month, the Chicago Orchestra is doing Return of the Jedi.
That's right. You're telling me about that. That'd be awesome.
God.
That's kind of my favorite. The Luke and Leia talk in Ewok Village. That's Williams' best music for years after that, I feel like.
I still say his most unsung score was Adventures of Tintin, but for the most part, it sounds a lot like indie outtakes.
Mm.
Do, do, do.
Yep. So
God, that shot. Oh, I love that one shot
so good. It's just
from
now
the
that I've
interior.
made the now that I've made my Hitchcock observation, I can't like stop seeing it. It's like Vertigo, only with sharks. Uh,
Hey, there's the nod from Jaws of Revenge. We're gonna attach something to the shark.
but I mean, hold on. Sorry.
Huh?
Can't miss this part. Like,
Yes,
just the
the
way that
music.
mhm, that sort of playfulness with it too. Just like it's
Yeah,
so weird. It's so good.
because it makes you think, oh shit, they're gonna get him.
Right. And
They're
that's where I
really
was
gonna
going.
catch this fucking shark now.
Was just the sort of way that you've got it's two different movies, right? Like there's the beginning with the build up on land, but then you just stop that and you're just at sea for this, you know, action movie. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, here we go.
Look at that. Oh wow.
And then the follow-up shot to it. I think there's a follow-up shot to it. No. Yes. Ah, ah,
Yeah.
so good.
Why
So
is that not a
good.
poster? I would love to see that as a poster.
Staring at each other. So fucking good. But of course, in this, on the video version, you would not have been able to keep both of them in frame. And then when you faded to Quint in the center of the frame,
It
you're
would be
supposed to do a
chopped in
quick
half.
pan and scan over to him or
Yeah,
something.
it would scan over to him. Just like those god awful scans of Ghostbusters. Ugh.
That was a bad one, too.
That one shot for Ghostbusters 2, where they chop off Ernie Hudson. Where they walk into the museum.
I think they chop them off in the first one too, and I think that was the example in the Entertainment Weekly Guide to Laserdisc, trying to explain to people
Yeah.
why they should do it. And it's like, so you know that there's a black Ghostbuster. Now we get the bonding scene here. This was written by John Milius. We know that because he can't shut up about it, and has been bragging about it since 1975. But it's also the
Reminds me, I
only.
have to also see Big Wednesday.
I'm sure he did that. I always think of him more as Conan. Um,
Conan is just, yeah, I've
did he
seen
ever write a movie for
that
Walter
shit.
Hill? It seems like they should have worked together. Um,
No, didn't they do a little bit? Milius do a little bit on the Warriors? Maybe
maybe.
there was something I'd have sworn they did together.
So now the Scar comparing sequence starts here. Okay. It's going to get famous in Lethal Weapon 3, but they use that as a flirting technique between Riggs and Cole. That actually came from Return to Swamp Thing, which has it with
Yeah,
Joey Siegel and Monique Gabrielle comparing scars. And nobody acknowledges that like blip between this and it being turned into a Mel Gibson, Rene Russo bit.
you know what's crazy? I've done this in a strip club with a stripper. Like two little kids comparing scars. Because I couldn't ask her for a dance. The chick looked like a friggin' kid, you know? So I just gave her a little money. I said, "Here, we'll sit and talk for a while."
You've gotten too old.
She was cool. She was there to feed her dogs.
Okay, so the Indianapolis,
Yes.
the mission of the shark. So this is what Milius brags about the most. And this was what they initially wanted the sequel to be, was
Oh, that's right. They wanted it to be an actual prequel detailing.
the Indianapolis, which has been done. They did a TV movie of it that I've never seen with maybe Treat Williams and David Caruso. And then a few years ago, they did like someone with which of the Baldwins is the Christian one?
Oh God.
Yeah, they did like a Christian movie version of it with one of the Baldwin and maybe Tom Berenger and Billy Zane, of course.
Kirk Cameron wasn't in it.
I don't think Kirk can't, like, I think there's a level that if you've been in a movie that came out in the theater, you won't do a Christian movie with Kirk Cameron. You'll do it with everybody else, but you won't do it with Kirk Cameron. And I don't think Kevin Sorbo does any that have anybody else in it like that. I think like he's got to be the star in his. Kirk Cameron's got to be the star in his. Whereas Dean Cain has to be the star in his. Where the Baldwin seems like he will work with other has-beens.
Because whatever Baldwin it is, it's not Alec.
No, or it's not Daniel.
Yeah.
Is it Billy?
So
I think it's Billy. Or no, is it Steven? Is it the one from Usual Suspects?
Yeah, that's Steven.
Yeah, I think it's Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking over what should have been the clip playing when Robert Shaw won a Best Supporting Actor award for this.
Mm-hmm.
Or they should have given him Best Actor just to piss off Roy Scheider.
Damn.
It's not a bad thing for Milius to have a career based on, obviously. Like,
well, Conan is the shit too.
Mesmerizing. And this isn't something that Spielberg does anywhere else, really. Spielberg's not big on letting people monologue. Depending, he might let somebody do a speech, but he doesn't let them monologue.
I keep thinking they did this sometime in Jurassic Park, but nope.
No, because
Jurassic Park could have used one of these.
Jurassic Park is all for. It's all. I mean, it's like the start of every line being slightly amusing, like a joke, like the Marvel movies do.
The only scene close to this in Jurassic Park is where Hammond is talking about what a failure he is.
That one, and then also when Neary knew not to open the raptor cages. But I mean, even that's not. Yeah, the Hammond scene in that one is because it's the only time that like he gets out of the action.
Go to bed. Uh-oh, here we go.
Yep, here we go.
Having a good old time. It's not enough alcohol, though.
Nope. And Brody hasn't eaten.
The hell is that on that plate?
You don't want to. It's the chum.
Chum, really? Yeah.
It's beads. It's fucking.
Yeah.
It's mid-70s refried beads or something.
Yeah. What the fuck that is? It's just like a pile of something on a plate with a knife in it. That shark said, "Shut up."
I never realized it does stop them from singing. It might just be
Right.
largely attracted by noise. We learned in the second one.
My nocturnal eating.
Well, that's the other thing is the shark in this one, it goes back out to sea, right? Like it's not just trying to eat people on Amity, which is sort of.
That's kind of, the weird part about this is that once they resolve to go out to get him,
he's out there.
He doesn't go back to Amity at all.
That's also kind of like Jaws 4 in that when Mario Van Peebles and Lance Guest, they're out doing their whatever shellfish experiment and or the coral or whatever, and the shark's not.
Jaws Nintendo obstacles.
It's not a threat.
The eel.
In Jaws 3, it's always a threat, right? And in Jaws 2, it's hunting the kids because they're making a commotion out in its thing. But yeah. Okay, so that's the second of the shooting stars. There was one that just went behind Brody. Okay. Now we get a repair scene. I haven't seen the original Flight of the Phoenix in, oh my God, 25 years, but I don't remember. That's about repairing something. But this, of course, would become a Star Wars standard because they're always repairing the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Or you're always working, and then Luke's always working on his X-Wing. Those things were pieces of shit. I mean, like, they required constant tinkering. Okay, so pan and scan. What are you gonna choose here? Are you gonna choose Roy Scheider? Are you gonna choose the barrel on the side of the ship? What are you gonna choose?
Well, since they show you they're reaching for the barrel, they probably cut the barrel.
Much like Halloween 2, the first time I saw these movies when I was 10 or 12 and had never seen them, I preferred Jaws 2 to Jaws 1. That first time. Same thing, same deal with Halloween. And I don't understand what I was thinking, but I was also 12. I was staying up all night, drinking a lot of Dr. Pepper. So fuck do I know? All right. So at this point, I think we just start seeing the shark on the regular.
Yeah, a lot more.
Because we are in the last 24 minutes, and I don't think there are any more scene transitions. No, because Brody wants to call it in. So what's Quint going to do about that?
El Smacko.
So what you should have done in the second one is have Brody become Quint.
Well, he does in a way.
Yeah, but it's too short. His resolution with it's immediate.
Yeah. it goes way too fast.
Brody never goes Ahab, right? Like
No, not right. Not even when he finds out
it's a
that his
shark. Yeah.
kids are out there. He just knows the thing has to be dealt with. Uh, that's kind of bad right there.
Yeah, but it does lend to this idea that the shark's just fucking with them at this point, which never happens in any of the other. The shark never just fucks with people like it does in
Uh-uh.
this one. It's playing with its food right now. Yeah, there's a reflection shot, very Spielberg. Then we get the playfulness back, just the excitement of it. What I just shit. Williams did Sugarland, so, but I just wonder what movie when they were shooting this, what did Spielberg think it was gonna come out like, right? Like, because so much of it has to do with the music.
But if you listen to like a lot of his cues from Lost in Space, you hear a lot of what becomes shit like this and Superman and
Yep.
Star Wars.
I was gonna say the line between this Superman and the first Star Wars is
Because Williams has always been broad. Like it sounded too good for that fucking show at certain points,
right.
you know?
Then maybe the music cues they use in the Netflix series are Williams's. I assumed it was just their composer trying to sound like Jurassic Park era Williams, but maybe it was just.
Mm.
There we go. Look at that. Uh-huh. That's gonna do it, Brody.
Not a damn thing.
Yeah, you definitely lose Richard Dreyfuss is like watching Robert Shaw, which is a big part of the relationship or sort of the character. Okay, so yeah, now Quint has gone Ahab, but that's okay because it's going to be, I think, once he's got the two barrels on him, he can't go down. So, oh yeah. The other thing is that, oh, there we go. That's right, Brody. Except,
Oh shit.
yep.
Ah!
Good job, Martin. Jeez.
Uh,
Um, the sort of resolution to how they're going to deal with the shark is never as drawn out in this one. This one, it's the movie, and the sequels, it's a 5-minute
yeah.
sequence.
It's we gotta go get it. Let's
Let's get Michael
deal
Caine's
with it.
plane. Let's just go do it, as opposed to this where they've got to figure out how to deal with it,
Yeah.
and then we sort of see it play out.
Well, it was a little drawn out in 3.
Yeah. Because they had a lot of activity going on, but I'm thinking about like in 2. I mean, 4 doesn't count because it's like, 90 minutes, right? But in 2, they sort of rush through the stuff with the kids. They even rush through the kids' reaction to the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
Like those scenes are memorable, but they're memorable because
Woo.
Yep. In this, though, like every other shot is just fantastic. And they're so good. I wonder. So you had Poseidon Adventure in 72. I can't. You had pirate movies in the 50s, but the sort of, water getting in the boat's engine trope is pretty familiar now, but I wonder if Jaws kicked it off.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This did a lot. Jaws did a lot of shit that movies are still doing till this day.
I wonder if that knife will be important. The machete will be important later. 3 barrels. I missed when they went from 2 to 3, but I think I always miss when they go from 2 to 3. It can, of course, go under. Just the quiet of it. The engine sounds, it's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Hooper and Quint, of course, have their relationship has changed since.
Yeah, because neither of them are prepared for this shit.
Yeah, and they've bonded a little now.
See, now that's a shark.
Mm-hmm. And then we see land in the background. I think. Yeah. This is Quint's revised plan. So yeah, on video that would have been chopped in half. So you would have seen Brody and half of and Robert Shaw's face. But now Quint's losing it. We'll soon.
Yeah, he's spun.
Yep.
He's ready to get this damn animal. Anyway, he knows how. Yeah, shut up. You are locked in here with me. Nobody wants to be here, but you're gonna be here.
Mm-hmm. Instead of getting like that, Roy Scheider just gets drunk and sad and too.
Damn. Woo.
Whatever can go wrong does go wrong. Oh shit, that's right. It's cage time.
Oh yeah. I'm shocked they never had a full like play set. Just the Orca play set with all three figures and the shark.
Hasn't what's the name of that place that makes those retro figures that cost $30 for what
What,
should
retro
be
action?
no, not
Super 7, whatever.
Super 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, their Jaws, their Orca playset that costs fucking $250 or something. Like
Oh God.
we were talking over it, but Quint said when he was talking about the Indianapolis, he will never wear a life preserver again. And it's Quint's idea to do the shark cage. I thought you should fill bullets up with those and cover them. And I always love that
Right
cut.
into it.
The
Yeah.
reaction shot instead is the building shot. Yeah.
Some shit they've stolen. The Simpsons and Family Guy have completely fucking ripped.
Only Roy Scheider's had enough to take his shirt off. I'm trying to think. Do you have anything anymore where you only have one terror of nature adversary? Because once they introduced the idea of having two of them as like the punchline, right? Jaws 3, everybody has at least two, right? Jurassic Park, you've got the raptors plus the T-Rex, like plus the spitting thing. So it's just like
Shit, I think even in the Meg they had two. Or it was like the shark they thought they were gonna catch,
right.
and then
The reveal, it's not just about the one. I like how by Jaws 3 and 4, people just don't give a shit about going in near sharks. They're just like, it's fine.
Right. There's no more. We're dealing with a shark, damn it. We're dealing with a shark. Let's get him.
And now this is just the sound and there's the music.
Uh-oh.
Well, the other thing about this is the way they integrate the nature shots are a lot better, right? Like it's not just filler from nature.
It
They
looks
use it
just
in
like
scene, yeah. Because I mean, that's got to be a nature shot, and that's the idea that there are just fish hanging out right now is also terrifying. Quietly pull the tip. And he's looking the wrong way. So scuba scenes got to be a thing for a while.
Oh, yeah.
They'd already done those in some James Bond movies, right? At this point, because Thunderball had a bunch of scuba in it. Yeah. Angry shark.
Right. You know, if this was Jaws 3, he just got swallowed. Fucking.
Well, in Jaws 3, the shark should have been big enough to just
eat the whole cage.
Yeah, eat the whole cage and then bite. That's the thing is this is a 20, is this a 15-foot shark or a 20-foot shark?
It's supposed to be big.
I think it's supposed to be, they make it bigger in the second one. And then the third one's like 35 feet. Like it's a dinosaur shark, right? It's just absurd. But then they don't mention it in the fourth one, I don't think, because they know that they can't like build a big shark in the fourth one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, everything's going wrong.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. In the book, Richard Dreyfuss dies, and Brody's like,
Bastard Joe.
Brody's like, you fucked my wife. I don't care that you die. or they have like a last minute, like, oh, I guess I'm sad you're dead or something. But Brody's angry about it. Oh God.
Yeah. Oh, hell no.
Richard Dreyfuss gets a big death scene. And we're not doing the Jaws edits on this. We're showing him getting eaten.
Yeah. Yikes.
Spitting blood. I don't think we have spitting blood in any of the other Jaws movies.
Nah, it was never as graphic as that. People just got pulled under.
Or
you see them in the
whole.
mouth of the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah! And then, yeah. Did the shark just growl?
Possibly. It could have been noise from a combination of water moving and the wood breaking.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be growl. Oh, I think I've seen this before. Isn't this at the end of Jaws: The Revenge?
Yeah, the Godzilla roar.
Right.
All
Well, I
right.
think it was Jaws: The Revenge where it does growl, right?
Yeah, he roars.
Yeah, and that was the trivia, was that the guy thought it was so stupid he was going to make it as stupid as possible. Hmm.
Nah, take that, you bad old putty tat. Uh.
Poor shark getting poked in the head.
See, this is the most real it looks in any of the movies.
Yeah, and that's a thing that the first one, the one with the least available technology, was the best
Yeah.
one. I mean, they couldn't do it for four. They didn't give a
No.
shit in three
Yeah,
exactly.
3, they just didn't give a damn.
But I mean, like two, you would think that would be some of the
2, 2 was built for convenience, I guess. You
yeah,
know.
they really, for all Roy Scheider's complaining on this music,
Yes.
um, for all Roy Scheider's complaining, it's not like they spent a lot of time on the shark in two. Like
No.
they did, but they spent a lot of time on the fin. That's not the same thing. Like the fin circling is not scary like the shark, having a personality as it hunts
Mhm.
the main cast. And
Oh,
who'd you
look,
drive
Jake's
this?
alive.
I never realized it. He doesn't go for his poker.
No.
I was hiding under the water.
I was just hiding under a big ass
Yeah, it's
clam.
fine.
You don't
No.
hear him? Of course not. Oh, yeah.
Such a good end.
Mm-hmm.
This is the other thing that always bugged me about two,
Mm.
is that Brody's over his water shit at the end of this one. Right?
Yeah.
Like Joe Elves Jr. Just so fucking good.
And it's
When you
got
could,
those 70s short credits.
mhm. When you could still do your end credits over action, which is
Yes,
is a
Universal.
lost art of end titles or end credits. Live shark footage,
Ron and Valerie Taylor.
Panavision, and
Good old
Technicolor.
Panavision.
Yep. Oh, we do even have time for the cast, right? Because
A
this is
good
about the
cast is worth
only
repeating.
this is the only time it makes any sense, pan and scan, because the credits are framed. Though not the first credits wouldn't have been. Oh, Peter Benchley was credited. And then that's it. They landed and pulling the boat out of water, and
Boom. I think you get
Jaws
the
will
rendering.
return in the multiverse of madness. PG, as it were.
He's going to get those damn Infinity Stones.
It took them a while to get out of PG, right? Like they had a lot of time for what you'd think would have been the PG-13.
Well, once PG-13 kicked in, it was one of those things where it's like, well, what else can we make PG-13? You know?
Okay. Trivia. Mrs. Kintner was at a restaurant several decades after the film's release and ordered the Alex Kintner sandwich at the restaurant. The owner came out and introduced himself. It was Alex Kintner. They hadn't seen each other since the original shoot. When composer John Williams originally played the score, Spielberg laughed and said, "That's funny, but what did you have in mind for the theme to Jaws?"
Wow.
But then later stated, without the score, the movie would have only been half as successful. Roy Scheider ad-libbed, "You're going to need a bigger boat." The shooting star was real, not an optical effect. There's a 1995 documentary called The Making of Steven Spielberg's Jaws that was on the Laserdisc and is supposed to be great. And it's been 30 years and I still haven't watched it. But for a while, you could only get it cut on the DVD. But I think they released the full-length one on the Blu-ray. What else? Robert Shaw was drinking. There was a Moby Dick in the 50s. He would have gotten along with Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance, yeah. So I was just about to say.
Originally, there was going to be a scene where Quint was making fun of Moby Dick in the theater, but Gregory Peck didn't give him permission.
What was he going to do, Mr. Christian?
Spielberg wanted Charlton Heston for Brody, but he was busy. Can you imagine? Brody's dog is played by Spielberg's real dog, Elmer.
You know how Irwin Allenish the movie would have been had it been?
You can't even imagine how Irwin Allenish it would have been absurd.
They probably wouldn't even gone out there on the water because of lazy ass Heston.
Oh yeah, can you get Heston and fucking Robert Shaw, Heston and little Richard Dreyfuss? No, man. Heston in the fucking 70s? God.
Yeah, that shit would have looked so cheap.
300-pound weights were attached to Susan Backliney and they tugged her around. So that's why that looked so intense. Robert Duvall was offered the role of Brody, but he turned it down. Duvall wanted to play Quint, but Spielberg said he was too young.
You know, I could kind of see him as Brody.
I do. As Brody? I can see him as a young Quint. I don't know. Brody?
I can't picture him getting batshit like that.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
I can hear him yelling about it, though.
Yeah, because Duvall's always, "Hey, come on."
Heartwarming stories about Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw's granddaughter. Let's see. Spielberg cast Roy Scheider based on the French Connection. Oh, that was 71, not 72. So there was a big in between, or a bigger in between there. Dreyfuss was tested and cast based on American Graffiti, which tracks. Oh, wow. Yeah. Charlton Heston was annoyed with being rejected for the role of Brody. Wait a second. But it said that he was too busy making the disaster movies. Maybe Universal didn't want to.
Yeah, because that would have been too much. Too much Heston. He was in all of them.
Spielberg decided against it because he thought that the audiences would know that Charlton Heston would be able to beat the shark. But following that, Heston vowed never to work with Spielberg and made disparaging remarks about him and was not in 1941. They wanted him for 1941. Murray Hamilton was the only choice for the mayor. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so that's the point where who's that? Robert Stack became kind of the Heston stand-in for everything.
Right. Most of the third act was shot handheld, prompting Steven Spielberg to quip that Jaws was the most expensive handheld movie ever made. This would have been before Steadicam as well. I think there was some handheld at the beginning too in the house. Bunch about this whole trivia idea is a lot better when it's not fucking 500 things. Victoria Principal was considered for Ellen Brody. That would have sort of changed that a bit. Robert Mitchum turned down Quint.
Brody's child bride.
Yeah, how old she would have been? Fucking, that was pre-Jaws, or that was pre-Dallas, man. She would have been like 23.
She'd been super young.
How's she gonna have those kids?
Maybe Linda Evans. I could probably see Linda Evans, but she's too
glamorous. Yeah. Okay, so John Williams apparently used some of the same underwater two-note motif for Around the World Under the Sea in 1966. All right. Okay, so that was Jaws 1. Are we ready to announce season 2? Hold on. Malton gives it 4 stars. I don't know if we're going to keep the Malton thing going forward. But all right, season 4. You ready?
Yeah. I'll give him a clue.
Give him a clue.
Well, it's a clue to the first films we're going to do. One has something to do with basketball, and the other one has another sport entirely. So that's the only clue I'm going to give. Fuck that.
What?
Well, that's what we're doing directly next. But actually, overall, what we're doing is we're doing duologies.
Yes. So you might have heard us try to remember certain things like Stakeout, The Sting. So failed franchises of the probably the
movies
latest it's going to go.
The first sequel.
Yeah, the latest it'll probably go is the 90s because pretty much everything gets the third sequel.
Yeah, suddenly everybody was trilogy happy by the 90s.
But
so it's the summer of duology.
Yes. So
and the first couple we're gonna do are the first ones I could think of were the Teen Wolf movies. The actual Teen Wolf. This is not, the
not popular, not currently popular Teen Wolf movies, including the truly god awful Teen Wolf 2.
Yeah, Teen Wolf 2 and the OG Teen Wolf.
Yes.
And there was going to be a third Teen Wolf, but they nixed that idea, and somehow, once they lost their star, they remixed it and called it Teen Witch. So we'll
seriously? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Teen Wolf 3 was going to be Alyssa Milano, and somehow along the way, I guess she dropped out or people lost interest or whatever. And a lot of the writers or whatever, they cobbled it back together and created Teen Witch, which altogether, if you watch that shit, it's basically the same formula as Teen Wolf.
Of course, Teen Wolf 2, rather infamously, is the exact same movie as Teen Wolf 1 with 3 other different scenes and a different cast. So that was the first time people really saw sequels being that rote in the 80s. I guess, I don't know. I haven't seen enough Chuck Norris sequels, but okay. So freaking Robert Shaw was not nominated for any acting awards.
Really?
It won editing, it won sound,
not
and
even
it won
for
music.
Jaws?
No.
Yeah.
And then
he got robbed.
He wasn't even nominated. BAFTA nominated Dreyfus. Wow. Yeah, because in the 70s, you just expected people to act as well as Robert Shaw.
Well, that's kind of true. For every point, there was like fucking Gene Hackman was doing some genius shit.
And that's true. That is, yes. I mean, this is it would be hard to find a better era of white men acting than the mid 70s.
Oh yeah, that's why Tarantino was so obsessed with
Right.
late 60s, early to mid 70s.
All right. So, yes, we will be back with season 4. We will be back with Teen Wolf 1 and 2. We will be back with, I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
That's why we call it the Summer of Duologies.
It's just going to take us, I don't know.
We won't do them all, but we'll do a good number of them.
We'll do a good number, and we'll have to see if by the end of season 4, because it's open-ended, folks. We don't have a set number yet. If they announce another something like Bill and Ted 3, right? Like some other ruined duology because of a 30-year-old sequel or a 30 years
I really wanted
sequel.
to do Bill and Ted, but that damn
can't do it.
That damn Face the Music fucked it all up. Yeesh.
Can't do Ghostbusters either. So
you're supposed to smile, Keanu. Jesus, you forgot how to smile, dude. Yeah, you can't do Ghostbusters. Well, technically, I think we can.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we got to get into the rules for what
fuck Afterlife. Fuck
constitutes sequels for it. So because
people still think 2016 is supposed to be part of the continuity of regular Ghostbusters.
Considering 4 is out of the continuity of 2, right? Isn't that what you told me? Yeah.
But there's still people who keep saying, well, I just ignored the 2016. You're supposed to, you dummy, because it doesn't, it's not part of the main thing. Now, the comic did a genius thing. I think they've, hopped on the multiverse thing really, in a clever way where they could team up with any version of the Ghostbusters. So now they have the, Central Ghostbusters. They had a thing with, they teamed up with the real Ghostbusters, the animated Ghostbusters. Yep. So, and in this most recent one, there was this big thing where they team up with all the different versions of the Ghostbusters that have been created up till this point. Like, so you have the ones that they did for the graphic novels in the early 2000s, and then you have Extreme Ghostbusters. I mean, it was pretty good crossover.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot better about mixing franchises. I mean, it's happened with everything, right? Like we've seen it on a $300 million movie now, right? But like we're not just stuck to, it's like there's a nice cross-pollination from people learning what you could do, because this all started, the franchise crossovers started in comics, right?
Yeah.
And then like it now goes into movies, but it's like, all right, we're far past shit like oh wow, oh my god, the hair, I forgot Egon's hair in the fucking real Ghostbusters. But yeah, we're past the awkwardness of Aliens versus Predator and shit like that.
Because that was just done in a kind of, you would have had to read the comics. Yeah.
That second one's terrible.
Yes, it is. It's god awful.
Oh my god, it's bad. All right. On that note,
seen it once.
I don't know. Maybe we'll work out the list before we start next season and share it. Maybe we won't. Who knows? But yes. So thank you for listening to season 3. Go listen to the Jaws 3 one, folks, since nobody has been yet. Fuck it. I'm just going to say it.
Right? Where's the love for Jaws 3, damn it?
You got to go listen to some Jaws 3. If you're going to listen to so much Jaws the Revenge, you got to listen to some Jaws 3.
For real, you don't even need the glasses for it. So I don't know why.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will be back with Teen Wolf next time on season 4 of 709 Meridian.
Oh my god! Brace yourself,
Jason
kids.
Bateman.
Yeah, Jason the Bateman. And till then, the beaches are closed for the summer. here.
But
at
only for
Amity.
24 hours. Only for 24 hours.
Jaws! Get away from me! Jaws! You goddamn Jaws! Won't you leave me as I am? You took me. You took me out of the deep blue. You took and you made me part of you. Now, Jaws, you found someone new. Why? Jaws, why? Wasn't I enough for you?